DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
All right, everybody, welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo. Nick Felice, as always, beside me. Exciting episode today. NFL draft, which I kind of forgot about initially. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
You're watching
in that
this
sense.
Good.
I was way to ruin it. NBA and NHL playoffs going on, and then first time since, I guess, technically year 2 of the podcast, right, that we get to discuss the Seneca 7. So,
right.
Looking forward to that. Nick, good seeing you. You're looking dapper today. You came right from work because it was just one of those like trap times where it's like you go home for either like 3 minutes or you just come in early. So
I've been here for 35 minutes now,
give or take.
but Paul, I'm going to start today's show off
Sure.
with a little bit of MLB, since that's not on the show's, topics. But I got an MLB Major League Baseball prediction,
Okay.
Major League Baseball pet peeve, and a Major League Baseball trivia question for you.
Are they all linked together?
In a way,
Okay.
but not really.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this.
MLB prediction.
Okay.
I think this is the final week of the Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton era. Yes, I know the Pirates won last night, but there's still a chance that they could lose this series against the Angels and get swept by the Dodgers this weekend, putting them at 9-20 on the season. Okay. The frustrations heading into another homestand.
I was going to say,
I think if they lose these next 5 games, they're gone.
My only, I'll save it only because I feel like if you said it's linked, so I'm going to save my.
They're not really linked.
I'm going to say, okay. If they're going to fire them a month in, why didn't they just do it in the offseason?
Yeah, it's be a bad look on the owner.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's had a lot of bad looks recently.
It's fair.
He needs to do something positive.
We've chronicled that here.
Anyway, that's my baseball predictions this week. Baseball pet peeve.
Ben Cherington?
No. What's the definition of a home run to you?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends, but when you get.
What's the definition of home run?
When you get all 3 bases and you make yourself at home.
I cannot stand when a ball is hit short of the fence and bounces off someone's glove and goes over and they call it a home run. I can't stand it.
But that's not.
I understand the term of a home run is to get all 4 bases on one swing. Fair ball.
That's like barely a once-a-year thing.
I saw a throwback video yesterday of a guy who's went off his glove, and it pissed me off. It's like, that is not a home run, and that rule still stands. If you hit it short of the fence, it should not be a home run. It should be a double. I can't stand
But the ball didn't hit the ground.
I don't care. You need to hit it over the fence. They hit it short of the fence.
I will play devil's advocate to be on your side here for a minute. It's tough to see how you're completely off base on that, given if a player is in foul territory and they drop a pop-up, but the ball lands in fair territory, it's a foul ball.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be foul.
That's what I guess maybe I could kind of see it, but I don't know.
I saw this old video.
I think you're concerning yourself over something like I said. That's barely a once-a-year.
Those old videos, maybe in the 90s, 80s.
Was it the Canseco thing?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay.
That was also, would it go off his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's BS. That's short of the fence.
What happens if it hits the top of the fence and then goes over?
That's different.
How's it different?
You're right, it's not. It's a double then. It's a double. I'm changing my opinion on that part.
I guess so.
Anyway, last one, MLB trivia.
Sure.
Mike Trout, one of the great players. Also, He's homered against 28 different teams.
Okay.
One team, obviously, the Angels.
Yep.
Never played against them. Who is the other team he's never homered against?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
And that is correct. And after last night's game, did not know this going into last night, he's now 4-36 all time against the Pirates with 0 home runs.
Perhaps the Pirates shouldn't go whale hunting after him then.
We live in a world where Matt Morris has more home runs at PNC Park than Mike Trout.
It's the type of world I like being in.
I'm pretty sure last team's Millage has more home runs at PNC
Hell
Park.
yeah, dude.
And,
Let's go.
good job on the question. That's it for MLB. Take it away.
All right, NFL draft. Yeah, it's weird. You kind of ruined my thunder about it for me. First time in years, I'm just not even like, I wouldn't say I'm not bothered by it, but like, my team's picking 29. Washington got no worries in that sense.
Are you a fan of how
Sure.
they do the draft order off of how you finished in the playoffs instead of your actual seeding? Does every league do that?
Sorta.
Does the NBA? I think the NBA goes off your seeding, doesn't
They
it?
kind of have like a formula thing too, like
trying to remember.
depending how your record shakes. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care in the sense. The interesting part, I guess, maybe on the draft order element of things is it kind of depends maybe too by league, like right, like baseball. There's 20 rounds is still a lot, so like you never know what you can kind of get. Whereas NBA, you only get 2 rounds, kind of hinging that you get your picks right. I don't know. Either way.
2 rounds in 2 days for some reason.
Yeah, money do be like that. Yeah, you said to me off air when we were talking about a little bit that like you didn't explicitly say it, but the way I picked up was like you kind of wish you had my problem of where it's like Thursday night to me is kind of like Thursday night now again, where it's like, I'll be watching the draft. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, the draft will be on in some capacity for me, but I'm not making it my probably main viewing because Washington's picking towards the end. Not really a concern for me. Whereas for you, not to be rude about it, but the Giants once again find themselves towards the top of the draft, and there's a lot more anticipation, buzz, no matter how you want to call it, around the pick for the Giants this year, much like a lot of the teams within the top 10. What would you say right now for you is kind of the biggest storyline going into Thursday night with the first round of the draft?
Well, before I answer that, I'm going to say it's been 5 years now since one of the most memorable drafts in sports history, the NFL draft in 2020, when that was the first thing that came back after COVID. When COVID was going on. That was the first sporting event that we got. It was before golf came back. It was before UFC came back. All those other sports, NASCAR. And that was the first. It was like such a weird moment because the NFL just kept going with it, and we still had the draft. And
All right, everybody, welcome back in. Apologies. We had a brief power outage. So, we're back online, though. We were in the middle of Nick telling us something about the draft. I can't fully remember, involving the Giants. Admittedly, as I scrambled here, we still have a couple lights out even right now, but we'll be all right.
yes.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I forgot. What exactly?
I'm sorry for bringing up COVID. I guess that turned off the power again. They just nah.
2020.
Anyway, yeah, COVID was an interesting draft, and the most interesting topic from this draft, to answer your question from 15 minutes ago, is I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, the most interesting question from this draft has been most of the headlines. Where is Sanders going to go? Is there a chance that he could fall out of the first round? And for me personally, I've probably said this plenty of times on the podcast. Not a big fan of his game. He could be a backup in the league. I don't know if he's starter material. I think there's a couple better quarterbacks out there this year. It's not the greatest class, but I think he's gotten this opportunity because of his name, and it's not like he's a terrible quarterback. We're not comparing this. I think you even said this a while back. We're not comparing this to Bronny James. He's 10 times the better at his sport than Bronny James.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this guy's a starting quarterback in college football.
No, yeah. Go. I'll let you continue. I'm not trying to interrupt this. Yeah.
I think there's a shot he drops out of the first round.
Okay, so that's what I was going at here. Is I think when the dust kind of settled on what was we'll frankly just call it chaos of Colorado the past couple of years, I think a lot of stuff we kind of maybe even talked about from time to time on here, and a lot of other people did as well in the grand scheme of it. NFL scouts know, and I think that's the thing, right? Where you can make it seem like he's going to be this top whatever quarterback. Fact of the matter is, it's probably not the case. I don't know. Part of me would still be surprised if he fell out of the first round only because I don't know. It's tough, right? The later you go on in the draft, no matter what, in the first round we're talking about in this sense, right? Like odds are you're probably not going to need a quarterback. There's a reason for that. I don't disagree. It's one of those things where I think I just have a hard time seeing him not be in the first round still for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because that's just what we've been wired to kind of think now the past couple of years. I don't know. I just think it's tough. I wasn't a fan of last year, frankly, the overall quarterback class. We talked about it. I just wasn't.
Last year's class.
And I've had a little bit of crow on that this year, admittedly, and obviously. But
because they were pretty good.
Yeah, this class is a lot of development, quarterback-wise. I don't know. Do we get a Jaden Daniels and a Bo Nix and even, frankly, a Caleb Williams for better or worse in this draft? Probably not. I could be wrong. I've said for a while, and I still kind of feel this way. I probably would feel the most comfortable taking a guy like either Cam Ward or Jackson Dart. And even then, both have very negative.
They still have a lot of questions.
Negative things, right? Especially maybe more so Dart than Ward, just because of where they are developmentally and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where I think the interesting conversations probably going on in places like Cleveland, like with the Giants, Tennessee. Well, Tennessee maybe not as much.
You think they're taking Ward?
Yeah. Do you go Travis Hunter or do you go Abdul Carter? It's crazy that I'm putting it this way. This isn't a knock on Travis Hunter, right? You win the Heisman for a reason. But defensive linemen are tough to get at a quality level that if you are Cleveland, if you are the Giants in this situation, right? I don't see either one of those two being around for New England. If you're the Giants, you try and call in and try and get one of those top two picks. I don't know, but do you go Hunter? Do you go Carter? I don't know. I personally speaking, the way I build, I think it's easier to find defensive backs in the sense of just the talent pool is a little bit bigger in that sense, right? You kind of see in college right now the premium that defensive linemen have become in the NIL era, obviously, and it's not like that's changed from the past. Just that with it in broad daylight now, that I personally, I'd be taking Abdul Carter number one. That's just me. I
hope the Giants get Carter. Yeah. This Hunter thing with him saying if he doesn't play both positions, he's not going to play. Like, you're a rookie, dude. The NFL will be just fine without you. You just listen to them. You play whatever position they tell you to play. It's just, I don't know. The Colorado mindset, these players, I can't. It all goes to Dion, and not a fan of him. And
yeah,
I take Abdul Carter. He's just, there's not as many question marks around him, and he seems like it can't miss.
Yeah.
And he'd be a hell of a player on our defense. Yeah. And I would take him right now if we got the chance.
It's pretty interesting because you get outside of I'd say probably the top 3, right? Maybe top 4. I think New England feels like New England's going to be pinned to be taking Will Campbell unless they can trade out or something like that. But after that, it's where it gets interesting, at least to me anyway. I think Ashton Genty. Frankly, I view Ashton Genty as probably the best offensive player available outright. It's just that where do you take a running back in today's game? Who I don't know who would feel most comfortable taking him, right? And that's where I think you kind of the Raiders have become the hot pick for him right now. Obviously, Dallas has been there kind of the whole time, But, I mean, look, the way the drafts are, who knows? He might be singing the green room for a while.
The Sanders going to draft?
I don't think they are. I know Travis Hunter is. I think I saw that Hunter's dad got permission to go to Green Bay. So, that'll be whatever. It depends how you feel about.
What's the weather like this weekend in Green Bay?
I don't know. That's an issue not for me to discuss right now and view upon. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So it sounds like you're somehow hopeful that Carter were to somehow just completely fall through the cracks.
Do you really think the Browns are going to take him?
I think at number 1, I would take him. That's just the way I feel. I think if you're the Browns, here's the main issue with the Browns. In a shocking turn of events.
Main issue?
It's back to being a quarterback issue for them.
Oh,
More
really?
than anything for me right now.
Oh, really? The Browns have a quarterback
I know, it's shocking, right? Joe, your competition right now is Deshaun, Flacco. Well, I guess technically not Deshaun this year, no matter what. But
Pickett.
But Pickett, Flacco. They could do the funny thing and take like Cam Ward and completely throw everything for a loop. I just don't see that
Tennessee's got the
happening.
first pick, though.
Yeah. So, I
They're
don't know.
going to take Cam Ward.
I guess Tennessee wouldn't be messing around, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to.
So, I don't know. I mean, they probably go Hunter. I don't know.
I think so.
Cleveland's not known for doing the smart thing. That's the issue.
I think Hunter, it's the NFL. They're usually, most games are sold out, but Hunter sells, I think, more.
My main thing about Hunter, and I love the fact that he wants to play both ways. I'd rather have a guy like that mentality than anything else, right? But man, your body gets beat up. And not like it doesn't get beat up at college or the high school level, right? Let's not get it twisted, but it's one of those things where the NFL, by all accounts, as everybody says, a completely different animal.
Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Who's harder, Hunter, doing what he has to do?
I think from the actual gameplay perspective, I think Ohtani is harder, but that's just, that's just me.
What about like a goalie that plays goalie in hockey every 2 games, but then like goes to forward and he's like the leading scorer as well? You think that will ever happen?
No.
That's
way too specialized.
Like Tim Thomas is also the leading scorer for the Bruins.
Why is Tim Thomas the one you pulled on this one?
But
of all people.
But he plays goalie every 2 games.
No.
And if the game's close, he'll sub out from forward and go in.
It's such a specialized. That one's such a specialized whatever. No.
Now how come Ben Simmons doesn't get enough credit? Guy plays PG and center.
He also plays right and left bench.
He's pretty talented.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I don't know. I would go Carter. I think they go Hunter.
You think the Browns will go Hunter?
Yeah.
I think the Giants get him at 3. Carter.
It's just one of those things where it's like, man, I don't know.
Be a steal.
Giants could do the funny thing and take Genty.
Oh my God. Fire him on the spot.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I'm sorry, but it would be funny.
Kyle McCord, though, where's he going?
I don't think he's a day one guy. I love how people are trending him to day one. I don't think he's a day one.
Like you said, though, there's a lot of teams that already have a quarterback. They're going to waste a first-round pick on a quarterback.
I think it's all about fit, right?
Washington back?
No.
Ohio State?
I mean, it's kind of funny. He'd fit the Cincinnati scheme pretty well, backup-wise. I just don't think they do it with what's-his-face already kind of on lockdown for that, right?
Oh, it's that guy played a couple games.
Yeah. Browning.
Yeah.
Don't think that happens.
I don't know.
Detroit would be an interesting one, potentially, but...
Hope he goes to a good offense, like you said.
Yeah.
A team that's centers around the quarterback.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because of the power outage. We're already trailing time-wise. And let's do NHL playoffs first because there's a lot of discussion. Obviously, it's viewed as the NBA in the sense of maybe this earlier round stuff, but it's kind of funny. The main talking point right now is about the ratings, and I think it's a bit of a nothing burger only because quite literally your biggest markets are out of the playoffs. And it's like the first time ever that we've kind of experienced that with Chicago, Boston, New York all out at the same time. Plus you kick in markets like Philly who are out, Pittsburgh who are out. Kind of sways stuff a little bit more in that sense. For that, obviously, like Detroit 2 out, it's just one of those things where it's like, I think it's a big nothing burger in the grand scheme of it, just because, like I said, those markets are out. It's going to be tough for anything to kind of
Also,
rebound.
what's up with the schedule?
So, yeah, it's kind of funny. I know,
Base here.
well, there was a scheduling conflict involving the arena, I guess.
Really?
Still, though, you got Game 3 starting tonight. And Game 1 was last night for them. It's tough.
They are like every other day going forward, but
yeah, which I don't mind. I think probably even the players probably didn't necessarily mind that. You get one extra day and then follow into a quasi regular season schedule.
it was weird that teams that already played 2 games before Tampa Bay and Florida had played a game. Yeah, that was kind of weird, but
But it's been pretty exciting overall so far. We've had overtimes. Obviously, Ovechkin gets an overtime goal, and
doesn't count for.
There was a weird. I had to chuckle. It was the weird conversation. Like, it's his first one ever. I'm like, well, yeah. What are the odds that even at his level that he'd win an overtime game winner?
It's rare.
Yeah, in the postseason. So it's like, meh, whatever.
Who won the Tampa Bay game?
Florida did. So, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting first round matchups. Specifically in the East, you have the Battle for Ontario with Ottawa and Toronto. Obviously, Battle of Florida with Tampa in Florida. I had to double check myself there. I'm like, yeah, that's technically speaking, the proper way to do this. So it's just one of those things, right, where it's the matchups are there. I don't know if I necessarily worry. How can I want to make sure I kind of phrase. I don't know if I worry so much about the second round only because of like the reseeding, right? I got there's a possibility that like Tampa could face Washington. That was a little bit of a rivalry type deal for a couple of years, but Florida and Washington too would be a pretty good matchup and stuff like that. And I don't know. The West, it's tough because I don't know. You hope Winnipeg doesn't fall victim to the curse, obviously, and stuff like that. But it's weird how it feels like the playoff games aren't carrying the headlines right now in the NHL when they should be, and I feel like a lot of it's smoke. Like, not. I don't want to jump on the Rangers here, right, or anything like that. But it's like they fire the coach. You have a lot of discussion around like stuff like that happening and the ratings. I'm just like, but you got like really good hockey going on. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things maybe where it's like I'm sick of like the doomsday type posting again in sports. I'm just like, talk about the cool shit.
Yep.
Stop worrying about the negative.
I think this is Winnipeg's Stanley Cup to lose.
Winnipeg Stanley Cup to win now.
Yes. I'm rooting for Edmonton after what happened last year. being so close. I want to see McDavid get the championship. Room for them. But I have a feeling it's Carolina's year finally. Raleigh.
I'm in one of the bracket challenges, and it's tough because I almost feel like if they don't get it done this year, it's like there's going to be a lot of, or maybe not. I mean, Carolina is a lot like Tampa Bay was right before, what you call the Mickey Mouse Championships for everybody in 2020, where it's like, okay, they keep just falling on the doorstep here, and Tampa stayed the course. I mean, I feel like Carolina probably would, but it's like, again, you feel like you almost have to look in the mirror a little bit.
And it's impressive to bounce back after that Columbus one.
Yeah.
Where they were the best team at the time of all time.
For sure.
And to get swept, right? By Columbus?
Yeah.
I think they were swept, yeah.
You're talking about Tampa, obviously.
Yes. Before the Mickey Mouse title. But, yeah, you feel like Carolina, it'd be their time. I'm not really buying Washington. They've been leaning off the high with Ovechkin, chasing history and all that stuff. And they've had a great year. I'm not buying them to win the championship. I would put my money in Carolina, Florida. I think Florida's still a legit threat, obviously, defending champs. And the rest of them, I think we obviously know Toronto's going to choke eventually. All the Canadian teams will choke eventually. It's been like 30 years, whatever, since they won it.
Yeah.
Technically
it has been.
That's why I wouldn't buy.
This will be 31.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't buy in too much with Winnipeg, just with the curse.
Sure.
And so room for Edmonton, but I still think it's gonna be like Vegas, Carolina championship.
Yeah.
Vegas is always solid. Dallas has been struggling, if I remember correctly. They're usually decent.
Yeah. There's a couple teams that you do feel like it's like whatever. Washington's kind of one of them for me. Although, hey, to be fair, I didn't think they were going to do much this year, and they end up kind of not running.
Well, Rangers beat them in the first round pretty easily last year.
Well, it's more from the fact of just like, okay, everybody's old and they didn't do anything type stuff in the offseason, right? Kind of a lot like the way Pittsburgh was. Like the way Pittsburgh was this year, right? That's the way I anticipate the Capitals also being. Didn't end up happening.
Buffalo was the same, though.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, like, I think Toronto handles Ottawa, right? I mean, Ottawa, I think, is not even like a year ahead of schedule. They kind of, to be fair, they stuck with it pretty good and everything like that. This might be their only window, though, for the next couple of years, depending on how you view the Norris trade with Buffalo and stuff like that. Interesting you talk about, like, the Canadian curse, but you also want McDavid to win the title. So it's, for me,
True.
For me, and luckily for us, we're going to be able to talk about this now for the next, month and a half plus. But like, it always shifts round by round anyway, right? You don't know necessarily who and what will move on at a given time, right? I mean, we're sitting here, right, and we're dunking on Dallas and stuff like that. But hockey is one of those things where it's like you get momentum, and it's the most dangerous thing you can have. So.
And we say this every year this tournament comes around. This is the hardest tournament to win.
It is.
In
Absolutely.
all professional sports. Even harder than March Madness.
Absolutely.
I'll go. Winning the Stanley Cup. That's why you always see like a random team out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's whoever's hot at the right time wins this thing. And for the Rangers, it's been 30-something years. It hasn't been their chance. So, and it's not going to be this year. And that's that. Who are you pulling for anyway? Obviously Tampa Bay, but is there another team?
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of them getting over the hump, I would say Carolina. I've always enjoyed Winnipeg, but like I don't know. So, but I would say if it's not Tampa, I'd like to see Carolina.
Let's go to Winnipeg.
Let's not.
Where is Winnipeg? I assume it's above Minnesota.
Yeah.
Is it? Am I correct with my geography there?
Yeah.
That's where I would guess.
Yeah.
Where it is.
Battle for Alberta.
Alberta. Who? Another team in Alberta? In the NHL? Calgary?
Edmonton. And in Calgary.
They're all in Alberta? I can't remember.
7. I don't know. All right.
Which one's Montreal and Quebec?
Quebec, yes.
I think they're going to get swept or something by Washington. We'll see.
Anyway, let's go to the NBA.
Your favorite?
It's your favorite right now.
Didn't enjoy the game the other day.
So I didn't know which series we really wanted to do a dive on necessarily, but I'm worried for the Knicks.
Why? One loss. It's happened before. Bounce back.
Nick, we watched the game together on Saturday.
You were there, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. You mean to tell me that's a team you trust?
In this round, yes. I think we could still skate by. Big game tomorrow night, obviously. If we can pull that game out.
Why are you using the term skate by?
Because I think this is going to be a tough series. I thought if we had won the other night, we could have eased our way to the second round.
I don't want to be disloyal to the trust me and you have built. Sounds like, though, you're on my side of Thibodeau might have run his course in New York, though.
Well, Matt did want him fired middle of that game we were watching.
Yeah, but you weren't disagreeing.
No, you're right. Listen, he's a great coach, and he's won a championship as an assistant, so he
has the pedigree.
He knows the ingredients of how it's done, and he's had this reputation, of playing players too much, and they get tired in the playoffs, and that's the case sometimes. But I don't know. I'm not giving up on him yet. Not yet. Let's see what happens tomorrow night in Game 3. I believe in Thibodeau. He's the best coach that I've ever seen coach this team in the 20 years that I've been a fan. And I'm just not going to give up on the best coach that's coached this team. And he's gotten us to 2 straight 50-win seasons, potentially 3 straight second-round appearances. But if things go south and we end up losing the series in like 5 games or something like that, yeah, I think I might change my opinion, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, the Pistons are playing with house money, as I call it, in this case, right? Because it's like their first foray into this deal. The Knicks, you want to know what I view as the biggest issue for the Knicks? Not Jalen Brunson's ankle. It's not whether or not Karl Anthony Towns will disappear or not. Michael Bridges looks bad. Like, I hate putting it like this, but like, it's the postseason. I gotta be able to trust you. And it's a different case than, say, like the Michael Porter Jr. thing out in Denver, where it's an effort issue. It's not with Bridges. It's not. But the same token, like the other night when he took the shot, the one shot, with them down 3 with,
Yeah.
was that the 10-second left shot, I think?
Yeah, after short remained of 3.
He can't be the one taking that shot.
He missed it, yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, and I get it. Who do you put in that spot instead of him? I understand, like, maybe to a degree. But like, at the same token, does a guy like McBride outweigh Bridges in that spot? And to me, that's like, I don't think Bridges is out on the floor if I'm coaching. Like, and that's the type of deal I'm worried
You want
about.
Juan Carlos out there.
Juan Carlos Navarro?
Whatever the point guard for Syracuse.
But what I'm getting at is just the fact that, like, for one of the guys that, like, you've been relying on all year to be as cold as he has been, look, it's the playoffs. I would hope he understands the spot that you have to be in that moment.
It was a very tough officiated game, that's for sure, both sides.
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah, you ain't kidding.
They got a lot of heat in that game.
Well, I mean, the one Thompson foul was absurd.
Yeah, there's a lot of absurd calls or no calls in that game, and they let him play, which was kind of cool to see. But at times, you're like, "Come on, that's a foul,"
or that's not a foul.
Yeah, it's the one thing they let him play, and then they call the dicky deck fouls. Like, come on, you gotta be consistent.
That's the thing, right? You just like, You want consistency. They weren't consistent.
And it was an unfortunate loss because we came all the way back to tie it. And then Dennis Schroeder, who's a good pickup for that team, makes the big clutch three and put the pressure on us to try to tie it. And Bridges ends up taking the shot and didn't work out. And it's a tough loss. But series is not over. It's early. It's only 1-1. We got not a road trip to Detroit. We got a business trip. The only thing I'm wondering is, did they go through Canada to get there? And we got to try to take one game back, get this at least 2-2, going back to New York, which will be a Game 5 in New York. And we're up 3-1. Great. That's a perfect road trip. And but we're going to try to take at least one. You don't want to go back down 3-1. No.
Yeah.
So I knew it would be interesting because we're going to be talking about it in a second here. Seneca 7. I'm pretty sure when the game starts.
It's also Talladega weekend.
Yes. And when the game starts, I'm going to miss a lot of it because my second run is 4.8 miles. And it's up that Watkins Glen Hill. You're talking at least an hour.
For you, yeah.
At least. I'm hoping hour 15. I'm going to miss the majority of the game. It's going to be around that time. Anyway.
Yeah. Miami looks rough, to say the least. Game 2 tonight for them, obviously, but
they're a 10 seed.
First 10 seed in history. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of funny. I think a lot of people have slept on this Cleveland team all year still somehow. Can't say I'm surprised by much of that, what happened. I think a lot of the stuff for the Cleveland stuff I'm going to save until the second round here, depending upon who they see in what's been a pretty intriguing Milwaukee and Indiana series so far. Maybe not so much for, even though I guess it's technically on the court, but, this weird rivalry that's kind of bubbled up over the course of the past few years between these two teams have certainly come to a head in this first round, as my phone is now on the floor. But, series is interesting for off the court stuff, I guess, technically, with that.
Lillard played yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But he coming off a blood clot.
Yeah.
I give him credit just to even go out there. You can't even really judge how he's playing.
I don't know. I mean, I think you can and can't, just because, again, postseason. I get it, but I don't know. If you felt like you weren't good enough to be back right now, then maybe you shouldn't be playing in the first place. But here nor there. Boston
will rout
in that series. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Orlando looks like a completely different team, even from the start of the year when there were some obvious concerns. It feels like.
Yeah. Also, we didn't mention
Franz. I know you aren't a big fan of either of them, but Franz Wagner looks like a completely different player post injury. I don't know what's going on there, but that's another case of especially in the Orlando spot. I don't know who they actually go to in that position at that point, but it's one of those things where it's any other team, it'd be one of those things where it's buddy, get with it or get lost.
Also, we didn't mention Detroit. That was their first playoff win since 2008.
That's true, yeah.
A long time ago.
Where were you in 2008? Right now.
8th grade?
7th grade.
7th grade.
I was 8th grade.
That's right. 2009, I graduated from middle school.
Yeah. Michael Jackson. He died. Same with Farrah Fawcett.
Yep. You got it. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Bingo bongo.
Anyway, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And Orlando, been quite some time since they made the NBA Finals. Was it that the same year?
No, they were 2009.
9. Still around that.
Well, I guess it depends what same year you're talking about.
But, yeah, Magic ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Pretty tough.
On the West?
More intriguing matchups to me in the West. I mean, that Nuggets-Clippers series is going to be
7.
That's got to be going 7, right?
It looks like a 7-game series.
I'm telling you what. Now, it was a different story last night compared to Game 1, but Lakers-Timberwolves could go 7. That very well could go 7.
Well, the thing you got to remember It's a 3 versus 6 seed, but these
Yeah.
teams were separated one game in
Yeah.
the standings,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're pretty much even.
Now, I guess before we get to Warriors, Rockets, I'll just say this. Grizzlies. Yikes.
Well, they have been a mess for a while now.
I'm just saying, though, like,
The only thing I've heard about the Grizzlies is their coach got fired and Ja Morant's celebrations.
you like guns.
I don't know what they're still doing here.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, and I know what people might be say about, like, Miami in this case on the eastern side of things, but, like, Memphis legitimately looks like a team that has no business being in
They
the
were like a
playoffs.
top 3 seed for a while
Yeah.
this year.
That looks like a team that legitimately has no business being where they are.
And Oklahoma City is coming out and making a statement.
Yeah.
They are the biggest threat in the league right now.
Yeah. Rockets Warriors, an intriguing series off the bat. Ends up becoming like a rock fight that first game, which is crazy. Or maybe not crazy, I guess, depending upon the way you look at it. But if this somehow turns into like, and I know we call it like the zombie heat in this sense, but this somehow turns into like a zombie Warriors team that ends up in the second round, like I'll give them more credit than where I thought they would end up, period. I can tell you that much.
I'm telling you right now, if we get a Lakers-Warriors second-round matchup, I'm not gonna listen to anything about that. That's just gonna be overblown.
Right.
And when Oklahoma City get kicked their ass, both of them.
Yeah. I just realized I forgot to flip the camera around on the two-piece shot. See, because when I'm looking at you now, I'm looking not the right way.
Oh, yeah?
One of those things where, technically speaking, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, we're looking opposite ways the whole time. But
Yeah.
anyway,
How you doing, Nick?
I think this is Oklahoma City's conference to lose.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
They are coming out and proving they're the best team in the league. They were the 1 seed last year. They got the experience that people seem to forget. This is it. This is Oklahoma City's time. And at the end of the day, Seattle will rise. We rise for Seattle.
Okay.
Game of Zone's line.
Yeah, we rise for the brotherhood with, so. All right, we're running up against time now, too, and stuff like that because of the power outage. So, Seneca 7 here quickly. For
Driver.
Well, hold on.
Slowest runner.
Well, I was going to. Seneca 7, it's not, well, how do they technically, is it technically a relay?
Relay
I don't know
race.
how you technically call it. Relay rally, but loop around Seneca Lake, 77.7 miles, even though it's not quite that number anymore because of route changes I've noticed.
I have noticed
Here nor there. But 7 runners around the biggest lake of the Finger Lakes.
Deepest lake.
Deepest lake.
Scariest lake to be out.
Is it?
Storm. I wouldn't be out there in a storm.
Okay. This is the third time that this is the first time it's been under the Jerry 1 banner, I guess, but I guess it's the third time in franchise history, we'll call it, that a team has been entered through the Jerry 1 portal for the Seneca 7. You call yourself the slowest runner. I am driving the team again. It's a fun day. We're looking forward to it. For you guys, obviously, it's a different story altogether, but how are you feeling going into Sunday right now?
Training-wise, wasn't the best. That's why I'm calling myself the slowest runner.
Shouldn't be saying stuff like that out loud.
But like you said, it is a fun day. I will say, people want to compare this race to like marathons. It's not a marathon. A marathon is
It's a sprint.
a marathon is 10 times harder than the Seneca 7. The Seneca 7 is not the easiest race in the world, but it's not the hardest race in the world. There's some legs that are under a 5K. I mean, and you do it 3 times. That's where it becomes a little challenging. It's because you gotta run and then take 2 to 3 hours off and run again, and then you do 3 legs. There's 21 legs, 7 people. Each person gets 3 legs. But it's definitely something you need to train for, and I've been going pretty hard the last couple weeks getting ready for it. This will be my 5th time doing it. Pretty cool. This will be my first time. I think I've done a leg twice. I did this leg first time I ever did it back in.
Yeah, you did.
Back in 2014,
12,
15. I wasn't on that team, the first one.
I thought you were.
Didn't do it till I was in college. I didn't do the one with Pat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Did it.
Oh, now I remember who had that uphill that first year.
Yeah. So anyway, looking forward to it.
To cousin Joe.
Yeah. Yep. It's a fun day.
It's a long day.
It's a long day, but the 10 to 12 hours, whatever it takes to do it, goes by fast. In my opinion.
Certain spots, yeah. Other spots, not so
For
much.
you, it's a little different because it's the driver. You're the one that never leaves the car.
It's true. Well, technically I do.
What's
but
cool about it is...
Technically I leave the car every now and then.
What's cool about it is the actual running team, the 7 of them, are only together once at the beginning of the race and twice at the end of the race where we all run to the finish line. And I think you should run with us this time.
How about no?
That last, was it 0.1, I think? We all run together at the end.
No.
We meet up the 7th runner.
That Cam's Pizza is going to hit like crack, though.
Yes. And it's a fun day. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, thanks for driving.
Well, I appreciate the invite again to drive. So
Hopefully for good weather. Looking pretty good right now.
yeah, it's looking good right now. Sunny and now it's saying like low 60s. So
Well, was it the last one we did was snowy, right?
at the start, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it warmed up though. I remember by the time we got back down to like Watkins Glen, it was hot. So yeah.
And you're a big geography guy. You like
Yeah.
your little stops.
Well, I was going to say, are we going to do the game where I name the Finger Lakes again?
What? Oh, name the Finger Lakes.
But yeah, well, I mean, this one isn't so much geography and stuff like that. It's, you stop in a lot of you end up stopping in a lot of interesting places, right? I mean, obviously Glenora is a stop again. I know that, and obviously Sampson. We aren't going knee deep into Sampson like we did the one year, but the state park's always pretty cool and stuff like that. So yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's an interesting team this year. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how it fully plays out. And is this the first year it's an all-male team? No,
Yeah, I think so. First time we've had an all-male team. It's going to hurt us in the
overall co-ed standings.
Yeah, the standing.
But it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So they'll take care of the podcast, though, for today. We'll be back at it. I just realized the cameras have been stuck on you, Nick, for a little bit, so I'm wondering kind of what's going on with the overall internet stuff here. So,
Well, thanks for watching.
either way, Nick, who are you shouting out since it's just on you?
Instead of shouting out the whole Seneca 17, I'm going to shout out one person on the Seneca 17. I'm going to shout out Andrew Lucchesi, who was on this podcast a long, long time. He was on, right?
It's been a minute.
He did come on once.
Yeah.
Yes. A long, long time ago. Andrew Lucchesi coming home, well, to his old home here in Seneca Falls. Going to be staying in Geneva. Looking forward to catching up with him this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to, I think Friday night
Yep, it'll be a Friday to Monday. Race on Sunday. So, yeah, shout out Andrew.
So Nick's stuck on you, but we're going to head out on that note. Appreciate everybody for listening in and tuning in. Oh, there we go. Now we're back to a normal place.
Paul.
Can I get back to that now? No, it's not going solo to me.
Paul.
Actually, it's going solo to Nick, apparently, for whatever reason, even though I clicked on this thing is... We're off the rails.
Like, share, and subscribe. This was a crazy episode, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, you're going to see me run in front of the camera because of technical stuff and everything, so...
What an interesting episode.
Yeah, this is crazy. Nick, take us home.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Now it went to Paul. You see that? It was on your chair.
I don't know.